On November 5, 2025 at 13:19 Greenwich Mean Time, a full moon occurs at 14 degrees of the sign Taurus, in the field of prosperity and abundance, in the field of security and stability, in the field of concrete actions and practical decisions. The full moon is a time of opposition between the sun and the moon. It is a time of peak culmination. What will this full moon be like? What themes and tasks will rise to the surface? What events can each zodiac sign expect? We will talk about this in detail. Like any astrological event, like any event in life, the full moon is not a phenomenon torn from the general context of what is happening. And the full moon in Taurus will bring completion, culmination to those processes, those plots that were laid by us during the period when the new moon occurred in this sign. And at the same time, this full moon in Taurus is a harbinger of those material decisions, those material goals that we will set for ourselves and begin to embody in reality during the period of the next new moon in this sign. And the full moon that is happening now, on November 5, closes those material, financial, property themes that we initiated in the space of April 27, 2025. And at the same time, this full moon awakens in us those needs that will form into specific goals during the period of the new moon, which will occur on May 16, 2026. I am telling you this so that you do not just listen to what the stars prophesy for November 5, 2025, but understand this entire chain, this entire energetic rhythm, and the influence of this full moon is felt especially strongly for the 2 weeks after it. That is, the themes and tasks that this full moon raises and completes will be especially relevant in the next 2 weeks. That is, until the new moon, which will occur on November 20. Which themes, first and foremost, does this full moon in Taurus concern? In which spheres of life can events be expected? The sign of Taurus is the domicile of matter, resources, accumulations. Therefore, many people now, in one form or another, are thinking about purchases. Many now want to replenish their wardrobe with beautiful, cozy, and warm things. The sign of Taurus symbolizes reliability and stability, so many now want to acquire things that give a feeling of security. Security, at least from the whims of the weather. We want to buy things in which we feel more confident. The sign of Taurus is the domicile of Venus, which symbolizes beauty and coziness. Therefore, many now want to buy something for their home, some interior items, some specific things that fill the home space with coziness. In this period of time, we want to buy something so that there is not just sufficiency in our home, but so that an abundance is felt. Precisely the presence of surplus reserves gives a feeling of confidence in this period of time. Therefore, regardless of our exact zodiac sign, now many of us, the majority, want to buy something. If there are any problems with vision, then now, during the period of influence of this full moon, you will want to visit an ophthalmologist, replace glasses or contact lenses, or acquire some vitamins that are beneficial for vision. The sign of Taurus is the domicile of personal resources. Precisely personal, not shared, not joint. And resources mean not only financial or property resources, but also resources of a different order. These are our physical strength, our health, endurance, our abilities that can be monetized. And many now will, figuratively speaking, conduct an audit of their resources. What do we have? What do we possess? What of what we have is truly our personal and not shared? That is, this is a time of such a revision, a self-audit of one's resources. The sign of Taurus, as the domicile of Venus, symbolizes our ability to enjoy the earthly world, to enjoy beauty, delicious food, aromas, relationships, to enjoy everything that is available in the earthly world. And here, on one hand, during the period of influence of this full moon, we try to give ourselves something that we traditionally usually liked, something that previously, a long time ago, brought us pleasure. We strive to give ourselves what traditionally calmed us and gave a feeling of stability. For example, food that we always liked, that we associate with home comfort, with a pleasant, quiet evening, or with a holiday. We try to give ourselves what we always liked in order to strengthen our sensations of stability in life. But the fact is that now this does not work, since the revolutionary Uranus, returning to your sign, and even during the period of this full moon, in a tense aspect to the planet Mars, the warrior of the solar system, shows that our system of values and pleasures, that it is changing again, that it is literally turning inside out. And what we really liked before may now not evoke any emotions. And speaking of this full moon, one cannot fail to mention the tense aspect between Mars and the planet Uranus, the exact date of which is November 4. This is an extremely tense day, and attentiveness is needed here, as there may be failures, unforeseen events, there may be disruptions due to external circumstances. Because of this, our own plans may be disrupted. Caution is needed when working with electricity, with some electrical appliances, with appliances in general, since there may be failures on November 4, and this also extends to November 5. Special caution is needed here if possible. The next sphere that this full moon will affect is, of course, the sphere of relationships, since the ruler of the full moon is Venus, and it symbolizes relationships. If during this period of time you are in a state of conflict with some significant person for you, with a person on whom your stability depends, financial stability, this could be, for example, your employer or client, or emotional stability. After all, when we are in conflict with someone from the people who are close to us, dear to us, or with whom we live together, it is difficult for us to feel comfortable in the same space with this person. And if during this period of time, the theme of such an open or hidden conflict with a significant person for you is relevant, then you need to take such a factor into account. Now, once again, the system of values and beliefs of people is changing. And people who live in different representations of reality find it difficult to find compromises, but they can be found with the help of simple things, simple pleasures. For example, I think the earth is round, and my interlocutor thinks it is flat. And we cannot come to some compromise here, but we can somehow smooth out this contradiction in our beliefs with the help of simple things. Yes, I think the earth is round, but at the same time I want tea with honey. And my interlocutor, who thinks the earth is flat, also wants tea with honey. And we can stop this argument in order to enjoy simple earthly things together. That is, here it is worth reducing the complex to the simple, reducing some hypothetical reasoning and arguments on global topics to simple earthly pleasures. The sign of Taurus symbolizes our support in life, our resources. Yes, ideas are good, they are wonderful, but it is precisely Taurus that gives the opportunity, the practical opportunity for these ideas to materialize. Therefore, now we will be thinking about a new point of support. What exactly in our life, in our existence, gives us a feeling of stability? What can we rely on? Also, the period of this full moon can affect such themes related to health as diseases of the throat and thyroid gland and various kinds of colds. Therefore, if this happens during the period of such a full moon, if suddenly the throat starts to hurt, some difficulties with the trachea, with a cough arise, then here you need to understand that this is a manifestation of internal crying. This means that we are so dissatisfied with something in life, we feel so sorry for ourselves and do not even realize it, that it manifests as internal crying in the form of an illness of the physical body. The full moon in Taurus means that at this moment the moon is in this sign. The moon symbolizes adaptation, habituation to new conditions. The sign of Taurus symbolizes a lack of flexibility, symbolizes stubbornness. Therefore, during the period of influence of this full moon, these are the 2 weeks from this date, we may be irritated by what we have actually been trying to get used to for a long time. The time of this full moon is a period when you need to take care of both internal wealth and external sufficiency. Here there should be correspondence and consonance. The scales should be in balance. Let's now talk separately for each of the zodiac signs. In which sphere of life can you expect events during the influence of this full moon? Aries. In your horoscope, the sign of Taurus is the second astrofield. This is a symbol of your personal resources, accumulations, savings. This is a symbol of matter in your life and what gives you a feeling of sufficiency and stability. And this means that in this period, during the period of the full moon's influence, here again, for you will be relevant themes that are related to the possibility of receiving income somehow differently. That is, now you may be in search, in a practical plane or so far only in your thoughts. You may be in search of new sources and new opportunities for earning. This does not mean that right now you can implement something new in your life. Although you can try, but now you are learning something. You may be in search of some information about some new, possibly unusual sources of income for you. This is a time when you can think a lot about resources, about how to feel confident, what to invest your savings in, how to manage them correctly. Also, an relevant topic for you will be the topic of nutrition. You may revise your usual diet or meals schedule, since the second house is also the house of our nutrition, what we fill our body with. Therefore, many may now revise this principle in a practical plane. This is a time when you can resolve issues related to the bank, with your credit card, deposit card, with your bank account, and with how you store your savings. You will want to fill your home space with some things so that there is an abundance of them. For example, to buy some supplies, stocks of food, or acquire more of some things that often run out, and this causes you irritation. That is, you will want to have an abundance of something in your home. Regarding new ways of earning money, it is important to remember the rule that works for your sign. The less you initially invest your financial resource in some new business, in a new project, the less you spend, the more you will receive. And your financial investments, it is better to make them in what is guaranteed to be reliable. Although in our days, probably, nothing is guaranteed to be reliable, but still. That is, it means that now you cannot risk your money. Taurus. For you, this full moon is especially indicative because it occurs in your own sign, in the first house of your horoscope. And the first house is the house of that image of ourselves that we demonstrate to the outside world. That is, it is our appearance, our role, our model of actions. And this full moon, on one hand, completes the themes that began for you, that you initiated around the end of April of this year. This is now the stage of completion of results. And this, again, may be related precisely to you, to your personal plans and your initiatives. What you conceived then is now acquiring concrete forms and results. The full moon in one's own sign, in general, gives the completion of the most relevant task at this period of time in your affairs. Whatever it may be, for someone a question related to work, for someone a question related to your children or grandchildren, for someone it is a medical question. That is, this full moon completes the most important and the most emotionally responsive task for you at this period of time. In the days following this full moon, you may have a feeling of irritability towards a person who, in your opinion, causes instability in your life. That is, disrupts your usual daily routine and your calm emotional state. Also, the full moon in your sign completes the necessity to play some role. Therefore, someone may at this time finish working in some organization. Someone will stop communicating with a person in a relationship with whom you could not show yourself as you are, and were constantly forced to wear some mask. If this full moon gives you a feeling of such a disbalance of your life system, then remind yourself that you have yourself, and that means everything is fine. Also, this is a time when you may find yourself in the spotlight, when people will be talking about you, when you will be of interest more than usual. Therefore, this is a good time to conduct advertising campaigns or, for example, send out your resume in search of work, or register on a dating site. That is, this is a good time to be in the spotlight. Also, since at this time the sun is in your 7th house of the horoscope, the sector of partnership relationships, here you will have a feeling that it is better to hand over the reins of government to another person for a while. That is, if someone claims that they know what to do, and they only need your consent to solve some tasks, then allow this person to feel like a leader. But observe, that is, do not completely hand over the reins of the situation to another person, but try to step back a little. See what comes of it. Gemini. In your horoscope, this full moon occurs in the 12th astro field, the sector of completion, the house of secrets, the house of the past. And at this time, you may have worries about a person who needs help, and this person may be far away. In general, there may be worries related to what is happening far from you. The full moon in the 12th house helps us to accept some situation against which we have been rebelling. That is, in essence, it helps to accept reality. When we accept it, it becomes easier for us to take some practical actions in order to change something in this reality. That is, this is a time when we stop denying something, denying the obvious, and agree to accept reality. Then we will begin to understand what can be done. Also, at this time, we can show care for someone, for some person who really needs help. And also, the 12th house symbolizes everything secret. These are our secret savings and secret relationships. And during the period of influence of this full moon, it will seem to us that there is no more need to hide this, that any secrets accumulate and then, like a snowball, press on us and in some way limit us. That is, this is a time when you will want to make something secret manifest. Even if you understand that it is not entirely beneficial for you for your secrets to be known, you will still want to confess something, to tell something. Of course, this is not obligatory, but such an impulse may be. You will want to reduce the number of skeletons in the closet that every person has. Also, regarding this full moon, we may be talking about some long-standing debt, about a sum that some person owes you. This may not necessarily be a material debt. It may be an emotional debt. If you once helped someone, provided support, then now this person may return it to you, at least thank you or repay you in some material form or in the form of support and help. Also, at this time, some significant question for you may be resolved remotely. The 12th house also symbolizes distant lands, so for some, this will play out. This full moon will play out as the completion of some trip. This is also a period when you can somehow dispose differently of the property that you have owned for a long time. For example, you may make a decision that some housing needs to be sold or renovated in order to dispose of it somehow differently. Cancer. In your horoscope, the full moon occurs in the 11th house. This is the sector of our social realization. This is the house of collectives of which we are a part. And also, this is the house of our image of the future. Also, the 11th house is considered the house of our guardian angel. And this is a time when a question related to your role in some collective may be resolved. For example, this is a time when you can join a new collective of people, a new job, or this could be some sports team. You can join a new collective of people virtually. For example, join some group on social media, a group that corresponds to your interests. This is also a time when a new acquaintance may take place. An acquaintance with people who share your point of view, who are your like-minded people. This is a time when you may have an important event related to a person who is essentially not close to you, but with whom you are connected, so to speak, by special relationships. Also, during the period of influence of this full moon, there may be some significant event related to your brother or sister. This is a time when you can complete preparation for something. For some project, for example, complete a course of study, receive the necessary certificates, and then prepare to use the acquired knowledge or acquired documents in your work or in your hobbies. The 11th house is the house of society, so at this time you may be invited to some festive, collective event or organize it yourself. Also, the 11th house is the house of the internet. Therefore, at this time, you may either receive important information through the internet or make some significant purchase. The 11th house is the house of our image of the future. Therefore, at this time, since the full moon gives clarity, at this time a certain unified, holistic picture will form for you of how you want to live, how you want to organize your life, what your goals and intentions are, at least for the next year ahead. And also, since the 11th house symbolizes our guardian angel, your guardian angel in this case, this is a time when you will feel that some external forces, invisible forces, that they not only protect you, but also guide you in the right direction for you. At this time, you can attend some group classes, for example, attend a master class or visit an exhibition, a concert, that is, engage in some common activity together with a collective of people. Also, the 11th house is the house of lovers. Therefore, in the sphere of personal life, there may be some plots here. And even if you are in a constant relationship, where you do not plan to change anything, where everything is relatively good, this is a time when you may become infatuated with someone, or rather, someone may become infatuated with you. During the period of influence of this full moon, you may more often than usual think about what you are doing for your future here and now. Are you really promoting some life project of yours, or are you just solving current tasks? Also, the 11th house is the house of results, and during the period of influence of this full moon, you will receive the results that you have long been waiting for, or even such results that you did not expect. In general, This is a very favorable full moon for you, as it occurs in an aspect of luck relative to your sign. Leo. For you, this full moon occurs in a significant house of your horoscope. It occurs at the zenith of your horoscope, in the 10th astro field. This is the house of our career, status, reputation. Therefore, this full moon will influence the processes that form your status. For some, these may be issues related to work. There will be some clarity here. Clarity regarding what position you can apply for in the near future. Clarity regarding the terms of payment for your labor, or hear issues related to your interaction with superiors, clients, or with the profit you receive from one-time deals, in which you are intermediaries, may be resolved. The 10th house also symbolizes state and controlling bodies. Therefore, at this time, you may visit some state institution to resolve your issues, or some inspection may be completed here, for example, an inspection by superiors or the tax inspectorate. And since the revolutionary Uranus is approaching this sector of your horoscope in retrograde motion, this is a time when you may feel a rebellion against rules, an unwillingness to conform to some generally accepted norms, and to what is generally accepted in the society in which you live. That is, this period can give you a feeling of rebellion against rules, and a feeling that I want to organize my life according to the rules that are appropriate for me, and I do not want to conform to others' rules. Also, at this time, you may receive important documents for you, which may be related to your personal status. For example, a marriage certificate. This could be a passport or a diploma. This is a time when you can resolve issues related to running your own business. That is, here, one way or another, some fundamental questions for you will be resolved, which often may require applying to state bodies or authorities. Also, this is a period when an important conversation with your parents may take place. You may make a decision to make a significant purchase for you, to acquire some status item for you. Virgo. For you, this full moon occurs in the 9th astro field in an aspect of luck relative to your sign. This full moon closes some themes that you conceived or themes in which you showed initiative, took the first steps around the end of April of this year. These are, first and foremost, issues related to education, to learning or teaching. These are questions of your cooperation with other people or organizations, cooperation of a commercial nature. Here you can receive results from your joint activities, from your, for example, work on some trading platforms, from commercial activities or work related to the realization of your intellectual plans. This is a time when you will resolve issues related to the legal or bureaucratic side of life. For example, receive the necessary documents or a passport for a trip, a visa, or resolve an issue related to your cooperation with people or organizations that are far away, since the 9th house symbolizes everything foreign. Also, here there may be an important event related to friends or relatives of your partner in your personal life. Also, the 9th house symbolizes the personal life of our adult children and also symbolizes our grandchildren. Therefore, in this sphere, there may be some significant event, for example, the birth of a grandchild or a meeting with your grandchildren who live far away, or an important event in the affairs of the partner in the personal life of your adult child. And since the 9th house symbolizes everything distant and foreign, here we may also be talking about a trip, a journey, or a move, or a meeting with people who live far away. The 9th house is the house of our worldview. It is the house that shows our idea of the world and our role in it. And during the period of influence of this full moon, you will understand that you were right. Right about what you thought back at the end of April of this year. That the idea you had, that it turned out to be realistic, that everything is shaping up exactly as you assumed. Also, for some, this may play out as the move of your adult child or some processes related to the reorganization and re-equipment of the housing where your adult child lives. If you have small children, teenagers who are studying in school or institute, then this time will bring clarity in matters of their education. Also, since the 9th house symbolizes everything foreign, this is a time when you can start learning a foreign language or complete a course of study and take exams. That is, this is a time that, one way or another, gives realization to those plans, those intentions, those initiatives of yours that you laid down during the period of the end of April of this year. Also, for some, this full moon may play out as some changes in the process of how your work activity is organized. Someone may start working in a different place, in a different organization, or your company may change the interior of the workspace. That is, some changes may occur here. Also, since the 9th house is the 12th, that is, the final house before the sector of your status, your career, business reputation, this is a time when you can conceive and begin to take some steps little by little that will change your status. Status in work, in your career, or status in personal life. However it may be, since this full moon occurs in an earth sign, and your sign is an earth sign, now events will occur that will seem natural and understandable to you, and you will feel that everything is falling into place. Libra. In your horoscope, the full moon occurs in the 8th house. This is the sector of common and joint finances and resources, common property. This house of your horoscope symbolizes the distribution of profit, symbolizes joint ownership of something, some resources or assets. This is also the house of passive sources of income. And here there will be some clarity, realization. For example, you can agree with your partners on joint activities, on some joint plans. If your work, professional activity implies working with clients and managing their resources and capital or their property, then in this period you can complete work on part of such a project and receive your reward for it. Also, at this time, some joint financial plans may be coming to an end. For example, family plans that are related to money, investments, large purchases, or investing money in something. This is a time when you can close a loan, a mortgage, or for instance, receive a credit card from some bank. Also, the 8th house symbolizes our passions. Passions both in relation to some material, earthly matters, and passions that captivate us in terms of feelings, emotions, and relationships. And for you, the house of passions is the stable sign of Taurus. Therefore, you rarely change your preferences. That is, if your heart loves someone, it is for a long time. If some person causes a storm of emotions in you, both in a positive and negative sense, then this is also for a long time. This is a time when you will want to feel, so to speak, alive. You will want to do something, decide on something that will allow you to feel the taste of life again. This in no way speaks of any risk or excitement, but of the fact that you will want to take that step that, in your opinion, will add bright colors to life. Also, here, on a practical level, issues related to your financial obligations towards some person, organization, or state may be resolved. Or, conversely, issues related to the financial obligations of other people or organizations towards you may be resolved. That is, we may be talking about some payments or payouts. Also, at this time, you can acquire a health insurance policy or car insurance. This is a time when issues related to taxes, your tax obligations, will be resolved. Issues related to alimony or some other social payments will be resolved. This is a time when you, together with your family or your partner in your personal life, can discuss questions of your financial interaction with each other, discuss questions of the joint budget or some large family purchases. Also, since the 8th house symbolizes our investments that give us passive income, in this sphere you will make some decisions, or, for example, start renting out your housing and receiving remuneration for it. Also, the 8th house symbolizes such problematic moments in those relationships of ours that are long-term and stable for us. And during the period of influence of this full moon, you will once again understand that people do not change. That if there is some irritating factor in your long-term relationships, partner relationships, then this factor remains, that even if a person makes some attempt to eliminate it, so as not to cause your irritation and dissatisfaction, it does not last long, that everything still returns to normal. Scorpio. In your horoscope, the full moon occurs in the 7th astro field. This is the sector that symbolizes our partners and our partnership relationships, both in personal life and with our friends and with business companions. And this full moon gives clarity, completeness, the completion of some stage of cooperation with your employer, with your client. Here there may be some important event in the affairs of one of your close friends. Here a collective event may take place. Also, this is a time when you can meet or receive some information from your old friends. This is also a time that will bring clarity related to your personal partner relationships. Here an important conversation or an important confession to each other about something may take place. This is also a period that may bring an important event in the affairs of your partner in your personal life. That is, here we are not talking about something new, extravagant, extraordinary. Here we are talking about those joint plans or projects that you started, in which you took the first steps, or in which one of your friends or partners showed initiative back at the end of April of this year. That is, the time of this full moon will give either some collective event related to your friends or business companions, or here there will be clarity regarding your personal partner relationships. One way or another, this is a period that will draw your attention to the feelings and mood of your partners. That is, here you will take into account not only some specific events, facts, and processes, but also the relationships, emotional attitudes towards all this on the part of your partners. Here you will have to take into account their opinion, their position, their mood, and their feelings. Also, during this period, some important event or conversation related to a woman who is very close to you may occur. This could be your mother, a friend. It could be a colleague at work with whom you have warm, friendly relationships. Sagittarius. In your horoscope, the full moon occurs in the 6th astro field. This is the sector of our basic needs and basic living conditions. And this is a time that will bring some significant event as a completion, culmination in affairs related to how your life is organized. This may be reflected in work processes. For some, this is a period of dismissal, for some a period of clarity regarding those tasks that need to be solved in the near future. Also, here there may be some changes in the collective of people with whom you work. At this time, you can start working on some new tasks in your professional activity. If you are an employer yourself, hire people for work, both in your professional activity and hire. For example, some helpers for housekeeping or for providing you with repair services. Then at this time you can turn again to those people with whom you once collaborated. For example, invite again a person who performs certain repair tasks at home. Also, since the 6th house symbolizes the conditions in which we live, our domestic life, here there will be some completion. For example, you will receive the furniture you ordered, the renovation will be completed, or you will buy those things you plan to buy for your home. Also, since the 6th house is the house of secret enemies and the house of competition, at this time some theme that caused you a feeling of struggle, the necessity to resist, the necessity to compete with someone, will be completed. This is a period when you will feel that you were right, and you have won in this matter, whatever it may be it a dispute or some domestic confrontation about how to correctly distribute household family tasks. Also, the 6th house symbolizes our health and healthy lifestyle. And here someone may acquire vitamins for themselves, some dietary supplements, develop a new schedule of sports activities for themselves, in general a new schedule of such life activity. Someone in this period may take tests, complete a course of examination or a course of treatment. That is, here some task will be completed, and there will be clarity in what factors will influence and form your life rhythm and daily schedule. Capricorn. For you, this full moon occurs in the 5th astro field. This is the sector of joy, celebration, hobbies. This is the sector that symbolizes everything in life that we choose with the voice of our heart. And this full moon gives results, clarity. For some, this may manifest as clarity in matters of personal life, as an important conversation, a confession, an invitation to a date. For some, as clarity in your own feelings towards a person with whom you have been in a relationship for a long time. For some, this full moon will play out through the sphere of children, as a bright event in the lives of children or as a meeting with your adult child, if you live far from each other, or an important conversation, or a joint decision. Also, this is a time when you can complete work on some of your creative projects. This may concern both your professional activity and issues that are related, for instance, to reinstallation, reorganization, re-equipment of your home to your taste. That is, this is a time that, one way or another, will give you some emotionally pleasant plot for you. And this may be related to personal life, to children, or to the realization of your creative project, your idea. The 5th house also symbolizes holidays, festive events. And this is a time when you may be invited to some place where you have probably been before, and this place or this atmosphere of this space gives a feeling of stability. For example, you can visit the theater, watch some performance, a play or a ballet that you have already seen before, or you may be invited to some presentation, to some official but solemn event. And again, the fifth house is the house of what we choose with the voice of our heart. And at this time, that is, during the period of influence of this full moon, these are the 2 weeks after it, you can make some important decision that is based precisely on the voice of your heart. Also, this full moon may give you that you need to look for a new profession for yourself, that you need to try yourself in some new direction, that the work, the sphere of activity, or the organization in which you work, that you have either already outgrown this level, or that this activity is becoming irrelevant, and you need to look for something else in parallel or study something else. That is, to prepare for a transition to a new job. Aquarius. In your horoscope, this full moon occurs in the 4th astro field, in the sector that symbolizes our home, our family, our place of residence, and our ownership. Our ownership of land, an apartment, or a house. That is, possessions related to real estate. And this is a time when some question will be resolved here. This may become a period when an important and expected event occurs in the affairs of one of your relatives or in your family. This is a time when an issue related to your place of residence, to some conditions of your living, will be resolved. Or you may decide to dispose of some of your property, dispose of it differently, for example, make repairs in your housing in which you have not lived for a long time, in order to rent it out, or the tenants who rent housing from you will change. This is a time when you may start renovations in your home. This may not be some global renovation yet. It may be the re-equipment of some system in your home, for example, heating or water supply. This is also a time when you will want to fill your home with coziness, acquire something for your home. This could be furniture, textiles, some interior items, or dishes. Also, during the period of influence of this full moon, if this is usually not relevant for you, if you do not often cook at home, if you prefer to eat somewhere in a cafe, in a restaurant, then now this full moon will influence you so that you will want to cook at home. You will want the aromas of delicious food to waft through your home. Also, at this time, issues related to payments for your real estate or related to the processing of some documents that confirm your right to own some property, or documents that are, for example, registration at the place of residence or a residence permit, may be resolved. Here, during the period of this full moon, some specific family plan may also form. That is, some intra-family decision will be made, which you have probably been discussing with your family for some time. And now you will resolve this issue and agree on something specific and build joint plans. Pisces. In your horoscope, this full moon occurs in the 3rd astro field in a favorable aspect relative to your sign. This is a time when some theme that you yourself initiated at the end of April 2025 will be completed. That is, the full moon in the 3rd house closes for us some theme that we thought a lot about, or here some task that we worked on is completed. That is, this full moon, figuratively speaking, closes some road before us, a road that is no longer relevant for us. We have resolved this issue. We have decided, we have coped with this task. The 3rd house symbolizes information that we receive and transmit. That is, it symbolizes such information exchange with other people and with the world. And during the period of influence of this full moon, you may receive the information you have been waiting for. This could be information, for example, as a document or information that you need for work or related to your education. Regarding documents, often during the period of this full moon we receive some documents that we need, or some certificates. The 3rd house also symbolizes our means of communication, transport, and communication. Therefore, here you may acquire a new mobile phone, laptop, someone may change a car, or you may repair your laptop, reinstall something there, redo, reorganize, or complete repairs, for instance, of your car. If, of course, this topic is relevant for you. Someone in this period may complete a course of study, receive the necessary certificates. That is, this full moon completes some tasks that are related to means of communication, transport, or means of communication. The 3rd house is also the house of small and medium business. Therefore, if you run your own business, here there will be some clarity. There will be an understanding of how you should further develop your business, or there will be clarity of a bureaucratic nature when you receive the necessary permits or register as a private entrepreneur. The 3rd house is also the house of written speech, so at this time you can send some official request, fill out some forms. This is also a time when you can acquire some books, that is, knowledge or information in written form. Also, the third house symbolizes our interaction with people who surround us on such a daily basis. These are not people close to us. These could be our acquaintances, neighbors, colleagues at work. And at this time, you may have a conversation or meeting with a person who is generally located territorially not far from you. Maybe your neighbor will invite you somewhere to a cafe or to the cinema, or you will meet with your colleagues after work. So here there may be some joint collective event.